Well,
Sarah
perhaps
Bailey.
it's just a matter of Chief Nerd hiring his own nerds.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
We'll see. There are 2 nerds remaining. Will the 2 remaining nerds be retained, or are they out the door as well? I asked that question. They're still on the website. I asked that question yesterday. I haven't gotten the response.
And then are we looking at a revenge of the nerd situation after that?
Well, by the way, rest in peace, Ogre.
Yeah.
The guy who played Ogre passed away yesterday at 71
really?
years old. Yes.
I did see that.
That's sad and an interesting transition.
Well, I mean,
I guess you're saying Ogre is for the nerds.
Ogre came around and liked the nerds at the end, didn't he?
Yeah. They were friends.
Nerds!
They were friends, right?
Yeah, they were kind of like, he kind of saw the error of his ways.
By the way, PK, welcome to the show.
Do we really know what Ogre looked like? Like, would you recognize Ogre?
I actually did. I saw a picture of like him, I think, recently, and yeah, he looks like Ogre.
You saw a picture of him recently because you were nerding out?
Well, I mean, when he died yesterday, there was a picture of him on the internet.
Condolences to you and your family.
Welcome to the show.
I'm just trying.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah,
Good morning.
To honor
Good morning,
the memory
Nashville.
of Ogre.
It's good to be here.
It's good to have you here. Rexrode took his victory lap earlier this week on the Ravenwood Nolensville situation.
How did he take a victory lap? Ravenwood won the regional.
That's what. Oh, but maybe I missed.
Yeah, I'm like,
sorry.
okay, now you're misrepresenting.
Oh, the victory lap was on no parents getting arrested. That's right. My bad. No parents ended up in jail.
Which is a point of pride for us.
He's had a big difficulty with them losing this stage. Now, I don't want to get too deeply into what's going on at his school, but a lot of things he has claimed about the fantastic behavior over there and how it's so contrary to Ravenwood have not come true. He's got a lot of excuses about having lost this bigger thing. They shrunk in a bigger moment.
Okay.
And his congratulations to me for Ravenwood winning a bigger thing as compared to the smaller thing that his school won. It's been completely insufficient.
Okay. Good to know.
By the way, that's Donald Gibb is the actual name of the guy. And
look how fast he moved on.
Well, I mean, I can, yeah. I mean, look at the picture. I mean, that you can tell that's Ogre.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, Donald Gibb. As for you, all I know is that at Nolensville, we don't have anyone who went over to other parents like, respect the game, act like a total jackass and get walked away by police. So that's what we don't have, but you guys do. So that's fine.
Yeah, there was a guy that was inappropriate on my side, and I'll say that. When you had a woman that was screaming, "Hey, sing us a song, country boy," all you did was deny. This didn't happen. This didn't happen.
I have
when
you're the only witness of this.
And the whole team says it happened. So I see something dumb done by a Ravenwood person. I say, yeah, that's dumb. And Joe hears that something done dumbly by a Nolensville person, and he's like, this did not happen. I don't understand what you're talking about.
I have verification, and
so
actually the authorities got involved, I know, with your guy.
These kids are
I don't have verification of what you're talking
about. And
his
whole time over there, he and his wife have told me how Ravenwood has these misbehaving kids who are messing with stuff. And I haven't seen any kids allegedly in trouble with Ravenwood baseball. Meanwhile, I don't want to get into the extent of their issues, but there are issues over at Nolensville. So I don't want to hear any more about it.
Okay.
I don't want to hear any more about it. Stand up and take your beating in a bigger tournament and be quiet.
You really should have brought John Rich to the program or to the baseball game the other night. Would have been epic.
Good luck to it. Good luck in sectionals tonight.
And to you, who are you getting?
Are you going?
Who are you getting whipped by?
We're at Siegel.
You going?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a workflow, little touch and go. But hopefully,
you wrote a column today. You don't have any work.
Is 1 per week's done? One per week.
Would be nice.
So, are you going? Like we were talking about this off the air. Maybe I shouldn't bring this on the air, but I'm going to anyway. Are you going to LSU, Ole Miss in the fall?
I am.
Oh yeah.
You're scheduled that far out?
Well, yeah. We knew as soon as that was on the schedule, like, all right, just count on you're going to be there. So yes, I'll be there. So I'll spend all day with the Ole Miss tailgaters and whatever they're going to do to like voodoo dolls of Lane.
That is a night game, I take it.
Yeah.
Will that be?
Yes.
Will that be crazier than the Lane returns to Neyland Stadium golf ball episode that we saw?
Ooh,
That ended up being, I mean,
that was
that's an
rough.
impromptu crazy, right? That's when you don't, that's just anger at a call, drunk students throwing stuff. I mean, that was pretty crazy, man, to be on that field when all that stuff was raining out of the sky, I must say.
It's a heck of a bar.
But this is going to be the Grove all day
I
drinking
know.
in preparation for Lane coming. Ooh.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
that's the event of your fall,
It'll
probably.
be a hostile environment.
yeah. So
What's the date on that?
September 19th,
let's
early in the year.
Let's see if I can talk them into. Why don't you let me do a first person and I'll just actually tailgate all day and not go in the press box. Just tailgate with the Ole Miss people. Eat what they eat, drink what they drink, chant what they chant.
I mean, the gout will be on full display.
Gout.
That
It's
happens.
crazy.
Yeah. That's
Did you
true.
talk
Back
about
in.
the gout piece on
We didn't.
60 Minutes?
I
I didn't really have a chance to watch it, but I couldn't get to the phone fast enough.
So
to
he had
alert
his
you
own
guys.
segment on 60 Minutes.
Own segment on 60 Minutes.
No, I mean we've talked about he's going to be like Gout will be one of the like famous athletes in the world soon.
They showed highlights of him at like a track meet as a 16-year-old. I mean, it was
It's unbelievable.
ridiculous.
He's
it was
breaking
like there was
records
no
held
one
by
else in the
Usain
race.
Bolt. Yeah.
There was no one else in the race.
Like his feet could not be more different than mine, and yet we share a word.
He shares it twice.
It's true.
The Olympics are going to come around in LA, and he's just going to, everybody, Gout is going to take the world by storm. It's like, we on this show have seen this coming for a while, guys.
Way ahead of the curve.
Way ahead of the curve.
No, yeah, I think it'd be very dangerous if you did that tailgating story. I mean, do you not know your limits?
Well, but I mean, I could like keep it to wine and whiskey and chicken. You know,
I'm sure that's what they'll be doing at the Grove. Wine, whiskey, and chicken.
Wine, whiskey, and chicken.
Well, there will be wine and whiskey.
The
I'll
Ole
avoid
Miss
the beer,
tailgate.
and I just have to lay off the red meat. And then the dang shrimp, though, that's the thing that kills me. The
I think
crawfish,
athletics pretty
shellfish, man,
pretty prudish when it comes to something like letting somebody drink for a story. I would think no.
Maybe we'll see
negotiate,
if we can test the limits. Yeah, I think we have. No, actually, who the heck was it? We had a writer who got high with Don Nelson. I'm not kidding you.
I disapprove of that.
He sat and smoked weed with Don Nelson all day. I got to find.
How would that fly in your media ethics class, PK? Your thoughts?
I'm against it.
That was before the New York Times bought the Athletic, but still.
615-737-1025. Kuharsky is with us for the remainder of the show. The Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode is coming up next. We will take more of your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
I smoke weed constantly.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Unless you're talking to Paul Kuharsky, and then let the F-bombs fly, and if there needs to be a little bit of violence, there needs to be a little bit of violence.
The runner, gout.
Gout is mental. No, it is not mental.
I didn't expect to stand on a soapbox for Paul Kuharsky today.
For you, Kuharsky. Wee Wednesday.
I would let them pee around the field.
You know, Vrabel, I used to enjoy the delicious taste of a Camel Light.
We're out there battling, Joe. I mean, battling their ass off.
You're an ordained minister out here now on this radio station, Joe.
I married my cousin last year.
The marriage.
It is time for the Rex Rant, brought to you by Rapid Response Generators. Power when it matters most. Check them out at rapidresponsegenerators.com. Joe, go ahead.
Add something to that mashup.
Yeah,
I know. I just want to let it
Breathe.
Yeah. And then I hear the Life in the Fastlane riff, and I immediately go to like Spicoli and the Trans Am.
Yeah.
Like, my dad's got this ultimate set of tools.
Kuharsky's going to talk about you memorizing movies again.
I was thinking it.
Oh, you don't remember any lines from movies?
A small few.
Yeah. I mean,
You can't handle the truth. I got that one.
great. And he says like that.
Yeah.
You can't handle the truth, Archie.
We're
All right.
back.
I don't know if I don't know. I may have actually, I was like, oh, yeah, this is what I wanted to write about. And then I was like, actually may have said something about this earlier in the week. If I did, stop me. We can just forget about it. But let me just.
Stop them.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Well, there's a few things I want to get to since PK's here. But let me get to this real quick.
Okay.
Listen, I appreciate you, TMZ. Okay. I mean, hey, you do what you do. And once you get on to something, you're aggressive. But like, you are at this point, I think, a somewhat reputable and respected news source.
I don't
Certainly,
think they're ever wrong.
well, okay, but listen, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they have proved some things over the years, but when you come out and it says exclusive, and you have a picture of Diana Rossini trying to like say something in Mike Vrabel's ear at a loud Super Bowl party, and you're acting like this is like breaking. I mean, I just talked about the coaches jumping the shark, right? Paul Kuharsky was like probably like a teenager in high school watching the Fonzie episode where he actually literally jumped a shark because that's how old he is. I'm sure you did. We have jumped the shark on this thing too. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, if you have something new, I have no doubt that people are out there digging, and there's a lot to get to with this. And there's the Vrabel in the fall is, of course, that's all newsworthy. But like, if we're just getting random photo and then we're going to treat it like it's, that's just, come on, guys. We need to stop. I mean, I understand that some people have just latched onto this and just absolutely, it is like life-giving, Yeah, you think Matt likes to role play? What if he's like a knight in King Arthur's court? Just like just making up segments to put on your show.
Whose voice do we think that was?
I think it was Eric Cartman, wasn't it?
Well, we've gone to
I think there was some Stephen A. in there.
No. That was my attempt. That was Stilly as Cartman. That's what we've.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's our new thing.
I don't know.
Combination.
I don't know if I should say that's our new thing. That's my new thing.
Yeah, I get lumped into a lot of stuff around here.
Yeah, no, that was Robbie's. That's Robbie's new thing. Cartman is Stilly, but like it's enough already. Okay, so that's all I have to say about that. Unless you guys want to weigh in.
No, you nailed it.
Okay,
that's good.
Well, just the breaking tag in general is used on stuff that's not close to breaking.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
It's meaningless.
Yes, and so if you're a news organization, and that is one, you should use that a little bit more judiciously. Shouldn't you, maybe?
They're not the people who are going to lead the charge on the revision of the use of the breaking.
Probably not.
That's probably true. Now, another thing that I wanted to, and I've said this too, but I want your, I want to tie this to you, PK. Like I talked earlier this week, all because of the Vrabel stuff. I've seen some Titans fans like, I'm sorry, Amy, we doubted you and we never should have doubted you. It's like, no. You do not go back. You can feel better about Mike Vrabel not being your coach, but you do not revise anything with all that. None of that's different.
None of it had to do with that.
Right. Some people want to believe that maybe there was something. No,
Amy Adams
no.
Strunk was a source for Diana Rossini. So I mean, if you're feeling like you somehow had bad doubts of Amy, that's absolutely ridiculous to feel like that had anything to do with that.
I thought Raven was the only source.
You're very naive also about like Nashville is so naive about some stuff. Like they think like saints are running around the NFL or pro sports in all of these positions. Like this is an extreme example because there's this ethical tie-in and it's a reporter, but there are coaches and executives around the league who dabble in extramarital affairs.
No.
And I'm going to blow people's mind with this one. I'm going to blow people's mind. Brace yourself, everybody, you hypocrites out there. But Steve McNair had an extramarital affair.
Sure.
So if you are holier than thou on this and you are washing your hands of a coach who may have been involved in this stuff while he was with the Titans, I know the Steve McNair case is very complicated because of where it landed up. But when did you call for any of us to judge Steve McNair, to wash our hands of him because he did something?
Boy, you took it to a place I wouldn't have expected. I wanted
Is that not fair?
No, it's fair. But I wanted to also take this to by the way, now I'm just wondering about the loser Ravenwood parent, like, like what's he got?
Sing us a song, country boy. Sing us a song. And then a guy walked 5 people, but I was told he's hurt.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you have sympathy on us. Our guy was hurt.
Okay.
Unverified. But here's my question to you. I told you I was going to bring this all the way around to you, PK. So you, in your writing about this, and I think it's accurate, are framing this as this entire thing with the Brinker gone, and now they're just gonna, a couple people can do a few things and we're fine. I mean, right? There's no certs.
We don't know. We don't know if they're intending to replace him or not yet.
Well, let's act on the assumption right now that they don't. I mean, at this point,
I don't know what you're waiting on.
Yeah. You're not going to be shocked if they. I mean, come on, that'd be pretty shocking. So you are framing it as, okay, this is all that it took to, like, babysit / take stuff off Rand's plate, which fine. I don't disagree. But is this not also a commentary on Chad Brinker himself?
Well, this is, if they do not replace Chad Brinker, then all of the Chad Brinker creating the president of football operations and telling us the league is moving this direction, the GM job is too big, we want it merely to focus on personnel, was all BS. And they lied to their fan base and to everybody, all to make themselves look better for the failed Rand Carthon hire. And then they extended it into Borgonzi and gave him a short leash early.
The failed Rand Carthon hire, but is also the failed Chad Brinker elevation, right?
Well, no, they elevated Chad Brinker to do this stuff because Rand Carthon couldn't handle it. So while it was Carthon Brinker, it was okay. And Brinker hired Borgonzi. Then they said, well, Borgonzi's a perfectly competent, normal general manager. Never mind that structure. We'll squeeze Brinker out here and let Borgonzi go back to doing what a normal GM does.
But that part of it is still, to me, and I could be wrong, but I think what you're not emphasizing enough is that it wasn't just like Rand's bad. There was major trust in Chad.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So that was lost.
Changed her mind again. So in the course of 3 years. So they're going to try to bury this. They're not going to come out and say they're not hiring a replacement. I'm going to stay on them until I get it one way or the other. But if they don't hire somebody that takes that stuff, all of that stuff then leads back to Borgonzi's desk, that they were very conscious of taking off Rand's desk and Borgonzi's desk. And they were full of crap for all of this stuff where the league has changed and this is the way and we're cutting edge, taking this off. And it was all just to try to recover from Rand Carthon first and foremost, and to elevate Brinker, who they liked at a time, who pivoted pretty quickly once Borgonzi was in the building. But they said this is a big structural change, and this is how we see things now. Now, what they'll say is things change. Things change. Our thing has changed in a hurry. The league evolves. The league does not evolve in 3 years. You said the league was evolving, and we were going to see more teams doing this, taking stuff off general manager's desk. And by the way, Borgonzi,
the league's devolving, I guess what they'll say.
And by the way, Borgonzi is a guy who does like to close his door and watch film and be in charge of personnel. So more analytics coming to him? Well, no, apparently the analytics are now going to go, at least this one department is going to go to Bryce Wasserman, the son-in-law. Is he going to? I think that's one thing that Brinker maybe did reasonably well. I mean, the team has evolved in analytics in a way. I don't know if it's been good or great, but it's been existent, which for the Titans is a real development because Mike Vrabel, who was a good coach here for 6 years, said analytics is me and Stretch, and that's perfectly fine. While
I don't
the
care
Ravens,
what you have to say, Sarah.
While the Ravens have two guys from Yale who are, in the booth commenting in Harbaugh's ear, on every fourth down scenario, which is real modern, cutting edge compared to where the Titans have gotten. I think the Titans sports science is miles beyond. I don't think it. I know it is miles beyond where it was previously. It was prehistoric for a good while. Even, malarkey time, but certainly early Vrabel. And they've got a built-out department now that's got way more people. And I'm pretty confident that they know what they're doing. I wrote a story about the speed coach last year that made a lot of sense, what he guided me through. And that stuff was Brinker stuff. I mean, I think he delivered on the things he told them he could do in terms of creating a beefier organization in these departments. Now, does Borgonzi want control of that stuff? Because it's going to land on his desk if they don't hire somebody. And they will have lied to us, basically.
We'll get into a lot more of this with PK coming up next. Take your thoughts on the Titans. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through.
Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com with us here for the next hour, presented by Rapid Response Generators. Power when it matters most. Taking your questions for PK as well, 615-737-1025. So, PK, I want to start here on the Bryce Wasserman front. You know, you've written about the new role that he's got this week at paulkuharsky.com, and we'll get into that. I want to start with just kind of the day-to-day optics of this, both from his standpoint and from other people in the organization. I mean, you're talking about a son-in-law of the owner and that dynamic that is involved here. So when I see that, look, I have no idea how qualified or not qualified Bryce Wasserman is to do these jobs that he's now been given and the responsibility that he's been given. I do think, regardless of how qualified he is, when you're the son-in-law of the owner, there's immediately well, you just have this job because you're the son-in-law of the owner moniker that you've got to overcome from his side of things. And I think the other side of this is like whether it's, I mean, you can take this up to Borgonzi if you want to, but I think more specifically, people under Borgonzi and people that are going to be working directly with Bryce Wasserman in the organization, it's like, are they going to be able to say what they truly want to say or what they feel, or do they feel like basically Wasserman's going to be the eyes and ears for Amy Adams Strunk in the organization, and that hinders things in any significant way? So how do you kind of view, I guess, that relational dynamic there that is unique in this situation, that both from his perspective, I think he's going to have to fight some perception to overcome, and for people who work in that organization, it's like, well, I don't know that I really want to talk about this right now because the son-in-law of the owner is here, and this could get directly back to her.
Well, I think that's exactly what makes it complicated. Now, he's been around for a while. They refuse to have, sufficient biographies for people. So I could go on his LinkedIn and find out just how long he's been around. But he's not a rookie anymore, and he has worked his way up. And to a degree, he deserves some benefit of the doubt. Look, he's not a nefarious guy, and he's not a bad guy. He's a very likable, personable guy. But I said that from the beginning, as soon as Brinker went.
I wonder if he'd say that about you. It's very nice of you.
I don't know. The interactions I've had with him, I don't know. People put on faces with different people. He is a lawyer. He does have, I believe, an advanced finance degree. He's totally into it. I mean, to a weird degree, kind of. He catches balls from the quarterback during the session before receivers are available, when equipment guys do it. So here's a legacy guy in the family who, I think weirdly puts on, gloves and spikes to toe the line and make catches at practice, imitating receivers to be in the right spot.
Took 20 seconds after calling him a good guy to call him a weirdo.
For Will Levis. I'm giving a full picture here. But I do think that there are a lot of people who spend a lot of time kissing his ass.
Yeah.
And knowing that if I'm in with Bryce Wasserman, I'm probably safe here. And
right.
Other people who, for whatever reason, are not in with him or don't work in a department maybe adjacent to football administration where he is, who say, boy, it sure is easy for those guys to be safe because they're in with Bryce Wasserman and I can't be, or I don't want to operate that way. And I have a lot more doubt in my life, and I think it creates the potential for strain. I have, in conversations over the years about him, been made aware that he has become more and more conscious of those things and knows, that if he takes something home to a big family dinner and says something that he knows that it could have a big effect, and maybe picks his spots more carefully as however long he's been in the organization than he used to, which is wise. And look, it's not an aberration. I mean, most of these are, even the corporate one, some are very corporate, But a lot of these organizations are family businesses that have family people working in the front office. And this is a dynamic that goes on in a lot of them and has to be sorted out. And the Titans are clearly going to have to continue to sort out his as he grows in stature.
Brian says, is it crazy to think with the son-in-law coming in the way he is that this is grooming him to one day take Amy's position? I think there's some people actually related to her who would disagree strongly with that question.
Well, he's not taking Amy's position. I mean, she's told me on the record, and it's clear in the ownership section that Kenneth Adams, who is, on the board of directions and co-chairman and owns a good portion of this team, ownership will be taking over ownership. And Bryce Wasserman stands to inherit with his wife, Amy Adams Strunk's segment of this. So there could be complexities down the road. And Kenneth is not a guy who's in the building on a regular basis, working day-to-day job the way Bryce Wasserman is. And I have no idea what their relationship is.
It's obviously a lot of these teams are, teams, whatever, different leagues. You have stuff like this. You have family, you have people who are related, nephews, whatever, who are, and it's those are the people that you got to be careful. You got to be all that stuff. The in-law aspect of it, and I'm sure there's some of that too, but that adds something that maybe everyone doesn't have, right? Like the son or daughter-in-law of the owner is kind of an interesting dynamic. But like you said, I mean, he has been here a long time, and it's like you're going to automatically have the stigma attached to you. And we've talked about it with Brian Poyle. As far as I know, Brian Poyle may be the greatest evaluator of talent in the history of hockey, but his name is Brian Poyle. And so if you ever were to utter him as a possible GM, the entire fan base is get the hell out of my face with that. Right. Right. It just kind of goes with the territory.
He, I thought he was oddly close with Will Levis. Will Levis went to his wedding.
Another weird thing. How many weird things do you have about this guy?
Well, I mean, I've observed it from close. Do you want to know what I see or not?
I do.
Well, I mean,
you want me to shut up? Do I have to be quiet while you talk?
No, but I mean, if you're going to critique my critique,
I'm not critiquing. I'm just commenting. It's interesting. He's straight. Yeah. So he and Levis are really tight. You've said this before.
I mean, Levis, I pulled Levis aside last summer to ask him about, because I was writing this piece about Wasserman, to ask him about Wasserman as a pass catcher, as this thing, kind of, because I was playing with this as a lead. And he went on to tell me about how excited he was to get to the wedding, which was coming up, which I took as a real curveball. It was a real swerve in where I thought I was heading. So,
I can't wait to do the chicken dance at their wedding.
Yeah, that was interesting. The family tentacles that I have, Troy Blackburn is vice president of the Bengals as a year ago. He's married to Katie Blackburn. So he's an in-law. J.W. Johnson is the son-in-law of Browns owners, Jimmy and Dee Haslam, executive vice president and partner in Cleveland. Those are two big ones. David Shy Anderson worked for the Cowboys for a long time before he and Charlotte Jones divorced.
I just think it's just an interesting dynamic in there when you're in that organization of, he's not going anywhere, right? He's going to be around. It's not like Bryce Wasserman's going to get fired. So,
Yeah. I mean, he just the Cowboy situation would be the only way.
That would be the only way.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
And I think you work pretty hard. Everybody works pretty hard to stay married, I think. But
you must work hard as hell.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. A lot more to get to with PK. We'll take more of your questions on the Titans. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com is with us here on the program, taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. PK, I'm going to steal a question from your mailbag because it's an interesting one, and we've kind of been batting this back and forth on the show for the last couple of weeks. How do you define in 2026, given everything that we know now, what success looks like for Cam Ward? And I'm not talking Titans win total or anything like that, because trying to sit here and predict how the season goes in May is one thing. But I mean, you are talking about a number one overall pick with improved resources around him now. We'll see what the offensive line looks like, but I keep going back to the number one overall pick that you need to be your franchise elevator, and saw some good things from him in year one. Need to see a lot more consistently in year two. So as you begin to look at that, what does that look like for you? What's the formula in your mind to us getting to the end of next year and looking at Cam Ward and saying, you know what, that's a meaningful step way forward in the right direction?
Yeah, I think it could look a lot of different ways, right? But first and foremost, it's got to translate to wins, right? And I'm not saying that if this doesn't happen, like, there's going to be some major action. This regime is, to me, absolutely in place in 2027. Front office, coaching staff, unless they're really good and somebody leaves, or unless Robert Saleh is making adjustments to his coaching staff, I think, and Cam Ward is the starting quarterback in 2027. It's just a matter of the confidence level you have in him going forward. I think they've got to double their win total, which I don't think should be that hard with the increase in their talent, with the schedule coming back to some semblance of normal. You look at their away games outside of the division, Baltimore in transition, Cincinnati maybe in a go for it thing, Dallas always a bit of a up in the air, Detroit, maybe in a bounce back season, Las Vegas better than last year, but still not good. Giants better than last year, still not good. Should they be able to compete with all of those teams? I would think so. I mean, you don't look at any of that and go, oh, they're dead.
Right. Yeah.
Sure. Home outside the division, Cleveland should compete. Jets should compete. Philadelphia, high quality talent, but a team that's been in flux. Pittsburgh absolutely should compete. Washington, you think, would compete. So it shouldn't be a schedule thing where they're going to get clobbered based on their schedule. Doubling their win total as a result of them being a better team and Cam Ward playing better should be, I think, an automatic improvement that they make here. And Cam Ward, with better coaching, better play calling, a better defense, you would think he'd be on the rise. Now, obviously, they've left a hole in the middle of the offensive line that needs to be resolved, that could have a very direct bearing on his effectiveness. We don't know what Nickel Singleton's going to be and how many carries he's going to get. I don't imagine a lot out of the gate. So what's Tony Pollard look like, and what can these receivers do for him? But I think it's, one of those things, you just know it when you see it. And I would hope by the middle of this season, you're saying, yeah, there's really no doubt about Cam Ward. I think it would be very hard and very much on Cam Ward to get to the end of this season and for the city and the franchise to be like, man, we still don't know about this guy.
Well, is that possible? And I'm not trying to be Mr. Excuse Maker, but is it possible that's the case because so many other things that they tried to do failed? I mean, especially the offensive line, right? Like if it's a disaster up front.
Yeah, but, and I've said this, and I understand, look, he's not Peyton Manning. He's not Tom Brady. He's not an elite quarterback. I know a lot of people think you can get there someday. I'm not looking that far out. You have to be better as a quarterback and as a play caller at making sacks more of a quarterback stat and having him avoid. Now, once in a while, if this is a true disaster, center and right guard, or a true disaster, once in a while he's going to get killed, and it's going to be out of anything that he can do. And hopefully he doesn't get hurt in that. That's your number one concern. But at other times, got to throw it away, got to get hot, got to move away from things in a more efficient manner. Not that I'm pinning a lot on him last year, though certainly he took his share, but this thing has to be designed to get him away and out of, not just him, but the whole offense, out of trouble. And if that's the trouble spot, Brian Daboll's got to know what the trouble spot is and be able to get his quarterback trained to know how to get out of that trouble spot.
Scale of 1 to 100, your satisfaction or confidence level in him after last year.
In Cam?
Yeah.
1 to 100. My satisfaction level with him now, or my expectation level for him?
Based on that year.
64.
What was it after Mariota's rookie year?
It would have been higher. It would have been 77, but I'm not great at remembering. I mean, I felt like Mariota.
77.
I felt like Mariota had it. You know, I felt like he was going to be a good quarterback in the league. I'd have to go back and look at exactly what he did rookie year and how I felt. But I remember saying consistently for too long that I thought Mariota had the skill set and the mindset to be an effective NFL starter. And I think I started saying that pretty early.
Yeah. I mean, after his second year, I think a lot of people would have been in the 80s with him.
Yeah.
So will people be in the 80s with Cam after this year?
That's the hope. But I mean, anything I say there is forecasting, and I don't know what to forecast with him. I think they've set things up to be good around him outside of these two offensive line positions, which are the single biggest question facing this team as of whatever today is, May 13th.
Yeah, for sure. The quarterback and avoiding sacks thing is an interesting point because and people immediately go back to Joe Burrow's second year, right? And again, I'm with you. Like Cam Ward, until proven otherwise, is not Joe Burrow. So I understand that heading into all this. But it does feel like the upper echelon quarterbacks in the league are pretty good at avoiding sacks, right? Like and I think you're talking about with those guys differing degrees of offensive line play. Like Joe Burrow's really his entire career, but especially early in his career, was awful. Like it's awful offensive line play. Now he had elite weapons to get the ball to. And do the Titans have elite weapons to get the ball to? No. I mean, we'll see if Carnell Tate turns into that. So I understand that it's not exactly apples to apples there. But it does feel like, in general, your Josh Allen's, your, Mahomes to a certain degree, even though sometimes he runs himself into trouble trying to extend plays, they're pretty good at avoiding sacks for the most part. Unless it's just what you were describing of your offensive line just getting totally blown up. There's no doubt Ward has to take a step there. And I thought as bad as at times the protection was to begin last year, it's a little bit of the same thing with Levis too. Like sometimes he just ran himself into trouble and you got to get rid of the ball quicker.
Yeah, more than because that's the thing about him at Miami. He was special at times at extending plays, and he did seem to run himself into sacks too much last year. I guess there's more opportunity if your line is not good.
But do you prefer a first-year quarterback to be running himself into some sacks or to be holding it too long and sitting in the pocket and showing some sense of unawareness about what's happening around?
I'd take option one. Yeah. Because I think you can coach
that
out.
I think he did that more than he did the other. Outside of quick developing unavoidable stuff.
Right. Yep. Which happened.
It did. Yeah. 615-737-1025.
I mean, it's the rule here now.
Yeah, unfortunately it is. More coming up with Paul Kuharsky next. Take more of your thoughts on the Titans. Robby and Rexrode 102.5 The Game. 1025 The Game's Chase and Big Joe show will be broadcasting live today at Nash Dogs at 1427 Robinson Road. Nash Dogs now serving at their Old Hickory Cafe, plus catering, corporate events, and food truck bookings as well. Find out more at nashdogs.com. Stop by, and you can win tickets to see the Nashville Smash take on the Boston Butchers in the Team Boxing League coming up in Municipal Auditorium on May the 23rd. Paul Kuharsky with us here on the program. PK, I remember this time about a year ago, we were talking about some moves the Titans made in the offseason. On the offensive line, you had J.C. Latham. At that point, it was Bill Callahan heading into year 2, which did not last very long. But Bill Callahan heading into year 2. And one of the things that you talked about, one of the things we discussed was I don't want to see this offensive line take 6 games, 7 games to get going next year, right? And we know what happened. It took them more than 6 or 7 games to get going. Similarly, on the defensive side of the ball this year, you have an established defensive coordinator. You have, as your head coach, as the actual defensive coordinator, you have a guy that worked very closely with him a year ago that they're very familiar with. You brought in a couple veteran corners, established guys, a veteran established defensive tackle. Like, there's a lot of moves that you've made on the defensive side of the ball, but a lot of guys who have played good football in this league. So my question for you is simply this. How much intolerance, for lack of a better word, should there be for how long it's going to take the Titans defense to get going to start next year? Because the way I look at this team right now, I think particularly early, as you're trying to get things figured out on the offensive side of the ball and Tate settling in and all these things, like, you may have to win games early in the year based on your defense. So how quickly do you think this Titans defense, given everything we just laid out there, should be ready to be firing on all cylinders?
I might have a little bit more grace for the back end, where you've got a lot of new people and they got to get to know each other and communicate and all of that. Not that they're going to use that as an excuse, but if you see communication issues early, that'll be why. Up front, though, sounds like there's not a lot of twists, not a lot of stunts. It's a go get the quarterback kind of thing. Expect the guy who gets the one-on-one to win outright with guys who are capable of doing that. I would think that the pass rush needs to be and will be expected to be a very good version of what it's going to be right from the start. And that's, I think it's been made clear as soon as they started acquiring people that that's going to be the identity of this team. First and foremost is how it gets after the quarterback and sets the tone with that, which will be quite a relief if there's success in that department after some dry years here. I mean, Joe's kept kind of pinpointing the last time it was really good with Autry, Simmons, Landry, and when Dupree was healthy, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty good 4. I don't remember the depth being particularly good there. I don't know who the third rusher.
They had what's his name that was crushing Raidens in practice, though, didn't they? The little guy who was kind of a good story for a couple of years, whose name is completely eluding me. I know the text line is going to bail me out right now. This is going to bother the hell out of me. Please, text line, hurry before I lose my mind.
And then you get 100 texts.
Yeah, I know. But in the meantime, that version, the thing about like that Chiefs game, 27-3, they had no chance. They had no chance to block. That's who they would have played in the AFC Championship game at home. A team that like had no chance of blocking them because they did have that window where Dupree actually helped, like made a difference with, the other 3 who were playing at a high level.
He got right for a stretch of time there and was what they thought they were getting when they signed him as a free agent. That, I think this should be that. Maybe, I want to say less edgy. I mean, I think I wrote this in the mailbag or it came up on my podcast last week. We seem to be much more concerned with that smaller, speedier edge than they are.
Yes.
Or we talked about it last week. And so I guess we need to just relax about that. And I mean, this is the number one area of expertise of the new head coach who's had success with it. And so I'm just eager to see it go. But I think it's the engine for everything. They've got depth there where they could take an injury or two and be all right. They're probably going to cut a good player there, probably have a good practice squatter there. Helps coverage and all of that, and things should fall in line behind it. And this team, I can remember writing in the last, since they were good the last time, that they were kind of irregularly built back forward, and there have been times, not that they've had great DBs, but where their DBs looked better than their front, which is not how you want it.
Not how you want it.
Not how you want
I expect them to be good. I expect them to be very good up front right away. I expect them to look like a good defensive front that gets stops and puts teams in third line. I mean, I'll be surprised if that's not the case. They have enough options, I think, that with his pedigree as a coach, that's what I expect. By the way, very disappointing text line. I got a Kamala Correa. I got an Aziz Al-Shire. It is Ola Daney, is who I was talking about. Yeah. Ola Daney was that kind of, curveball guy they bring up the bench. And they also had Tier Tart then, by the way. So, that's a pretty good depth piece too. Tier Tart would come in.
At his peak, he was. He fell
well,
out
he did, but
hard.
But that year he was good.
Yeah.
He and Vrabel hadn't yet, he
clashed.
Yeah. So, that was pretty good depth behind it too.
Had Rashawn Evans coming off the goal line.
Rashawn Evans is a goal line player. Man.
First round goal line specialist.
He's one of the best goal line players I've seen. Everybody else on the field's like,
have you ever seen anybody be so good at one element and so bad at everything else? Really remarkable.
If his job could have just been straight line, go blow that up, he would have been a freaking Hall of Famer.
He would have.
But that's like drafting Jalston Fowler in the first round.
Well, it's this whole offseason discussion, though, with the defensive side of the ball is just interesting to me, because if the roles were reversed and they hired Brian Dable as the head coach and Saleh was just the DC coming in, all we'd be talking about was, well, the head coach calling plays, right? Like, that's where we are. And instead, I mean, the head coach is calling plays. It's just on the other side of the ball, so nobody cares as much.
Yeah. That is interesting too, because it's to me, I like at first I was like, yeah, but then when he talked about it, I was like, I kind of get it, I mean, I thought he was convincing in explaining why he wants. I
think the Dable hire helps with that too, though. Like, I think knowing that you've got, you don't have to CEO the offense. Yeah. You've got somebody that can do it. Like, if it was, some first time OC over there and the offense struggled early on while he was over there calling plays defensively, Titans fans would be like, what are we doing, man? Like, you got to get this figured out. That'll be the head coach.
That'll be for 2027 in the new stadium when Dayball has a head coaching job. For the hell is in that role.
Yeah.
So get ready for that.
Yep.
And, I mean, I don't know. If they have 3 games of success at the beginning, we're going to be forced to discuss Dayball and what head coaching job he's going to get. That's going to be an annoying, overbearing storyline if they have success.
But if they have success and it's Cam has taken a clear step, he will get hired away. He will get hired away. Probably. Because that's too many quarterbacks that you can point to and say, I've had a positive effect on, even if Cam's not great, if he takes a step, and he's probably going to anyway, but Dable will get the credit. He'll get credit. And I'll be if he's not a head coach somewhere else in 2027, it was probably a pretty bad 2026.
Yeah. I also think, though, I mean, I think people will get eager on that. I don't know Brian that well yet. That seems very likable and everything. And, it's a difficult situation. Any losing team is a difficult situation. But, it could be a guy that's a much better coordinator than head coach. Now that doesn't stop teams from hiring a guy who's been good with quarterback when you need a quarterback to solve your franchise's issue.
Right. And especially.
And he's going to get a second chance.
Yeah. And
third time, maybe.
I think the Giants, they may not be quite the Jets when it comes to dysfunction, but he'll get, just like Saleh here, he'll get that pass.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. One more segment with PK coming up next. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at 1025 The Game for live shows and exclusive content as well. All that coming up. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. Property managers, if you manage it, they maintain it. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. Boxing fans, 102.5 The Game, Ting Boxing League. Have your chance to win tickets to see the Nashville Smash take on the Boston Butchers. Coming up on May the 23rd at Municipal Auditorium. Text the keyword FIGHT to the game text line at 615-737-1025. We can officially break the news. No international games for the Tennessee Titans. The NFL's international schedule is now out.
What does it mean, PK? What does it mean?
They could be a road team next year. They have 9 home games next year. You usually in the year that that's an AFC NFC thing. So AFC has 9 home games next year. The Titans are not going to be asked to give up a home game next year in their first year in the new stadium.
Yeah.
And so they won't be a home team on the road for a home team on the road internationally for a while.
So if they have 9 home games and they're not going to sacrifice a home game overseas, they wouldn't give them a road game overseas, would they?
Why not?
I guess it just seems weird to me that you have 9 home games, only 7 actual true road games. Isn't that an advantage for a team to have only 7 true road games? Get one of your road games, become a neutral site game in Europe, and you get 9 home games?
Other than the travel involved.
Well, sure. But it seems like it should be.
I mean, where's the international game? They playing in Australia again? That's not much of an advantage.
Well, yeah. But I mean, just in general, the number, it should be like if you have 9 home games, you give up a home game.
I have to look at that. Now, I mean, the teams with 9 home games give up a home game, but do we think all the teams that go on the road then are
teams that would have 9? I don't know. It should be.
Then it's all from the 9, so it would be all the same conference. That's not how it's working.
That's not way too much math. You're probably right, but I don't think that's wrong.
No,
I'd like to just submit that I don't.
Ian
like that.
seems to have something to say.
No, I was kind of confused about the whole situation too.
My understanding is that like this, Titans are on the road 1 game more this year, which means it's an NFC year for 9 home games.
Yeah.
So NFC teams would be more likely to give up a home game as host this year, so that they only had 8 home games. But their road opponents could come from either pool.
Feels like another reason to add the 18th game.
They need to put
just get them even.
Need to put Jacksonville and Titans over there overseas. They sent Jacksonville over there for a month anyway.
I think the Colts drew that.
Texans got one against Jacksonville too.
Over there. Yeah.
Just have a residency over there in London.
Yeah. I mean, they don't care about playing the divisional games over there, which is what I was screaming about with this 49ers Rams thing to start the season off. It's like, oh, good. You're going to play a divisional game in Australia.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
I would just like
they wouldn't mess with that.
When the Titans go again. Now, when they have a home game, I would suspect it would be in Ireland, because they've set a flag in Ireland where they finally took some of this international marketing.
Yeah.
But it'd be great if they weren't in London again for their fans, because they've been in London twice in relatively short order.
And for you.
Yeah. And so everybody would get to go somewhere different.
Cheerio.
I'd vote Spain.
There you go.
But Paris would be fine. I've been to Paris a lot. I'd rather go to Spain.
This is great humble bragging by you. Richie from White House says the Titans are getting a rivalry uniform this year. This past season, the teams who participated got a home primetime game. I would imagine that would be the same for this year. Surely the Titans would at least get a home Thursday night game with them using the rivalry uniform. Is that true, PK?
I don't know that the rivalry uniforms were all on primetime television.
I don't think they were. Some were, but I don't think they all were.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Titans would get a primetime game.
A Sunday or a Monday?
The combination. Sunday night is awfully big.
What about Monday?
Yeah, I think they'll get a Monday or Thursday. I don't know about
Monday
Sunday.
Night Football means nothing to you now?
Monday Night Football is not a particularly attractive game anymore in terms of matchup. It's really
last year was weirdly bad.
Yeah,
though, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the teams that we thought might be decent sucked. So,
but I mean, I think Titans storyline wise, Cam Ward, Carnell Tate, and then the 2 New York coaches, I think would bring a little bit of Jets Giants intrigue.
Maybe Titans Jets on Monday Night Football. We get some of that.
How's that Manning cast looking that night?
I'd rather not have. I'd rather play somebody good. But as again, we went through the schedule. It's not terrific.
I don't think they're going to get a primetime game.
No.
They didn't last year. It was all Sunday afternoon last year.
It's very convenient, though they went west a lot. So
like last year was the year where, and I understand like draft night he got ignored, and it wasn't your typical number one pick reception, but still like that's when you have the intrigue of the number one pick, right, at quarterback.
Yeah.
And now he had a sort of underwhelming rookie season. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna get the same exact treatment.
Yeah, I'm looking at it again, and to Robbie's point, Jets at home with Saleh or Giants away with Dayball.
Yep.
Those are both decent storylines.
And maybe what it is.
Yeah. But like how many people, I mean, it's like those are storylines. I mean,
secondary
on the road,
but it's a story.
Against Baltimore, taking on Derrick Henry. There you go. They're going to have to tackle Derrick Henry at some point this year.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad either.
That's not bad. Of course, I guess there's like Simmons and Hooker would be like the two guys he played with who would still be tackling him, right?
Yeah.
That's about it, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably it.
Yeah.
Philadelphia at home. I mean, that's the best team.
Well, AJ won't be there.
Or, a Houston game. Houston's pretty good.
When did the rivalry jerseys come out? Is that like right before the season?
Yeah, late. Generally, I don't know if it's before camp or during camp.
Remind me
a lot
about
of new
this
jerseys
stupid
this
crap.
year.
What is this? What's a rivalry jersey?
They just go. I think it's 2 divisions a year with the third jersey. That's kind of the NFL's equivalent of the City Connect.
Yeah,
which is City Connect.
So they're bad.
Brutal.
So they're mostly bad.
Some of them are bad. I like the Buffalo one last year was okay. I think Miami had like this black one. It wasn't very good.
I didn't hate Houston's, but everybody else did.
Yeah.
It's all so stupid. God.
Merch. Got to sell merch.
Yeah, it's just,
and the Titans in particular. I mean, they haven't had an opportunity to sell new merch for 2 months.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'm watching the NBA playoffs, and it's just like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, you have good uniforms. Wear your good. This is like the most important game of the year. You're not going to wear like your uniform that identifies who you are.
You're not familiar with the NBA and its
I
marketing?
am. Well, yeah, it's a sports in general.
Knicks, baby.
There you go.
Don't block the box. Be sure to lock your locks.